Being a part of 4-H gave me a lot of amazing opportunities, and one of these opportunities was going to Ohio State's campus. When I was around in 8th grade, 13 years old, I was able to go to Ohio State's campus and do a Vet for a Day activity where I got to meet some of the students and a lot of younger kids like me. I really bonded with those people, and I'll never forget the memories I made there. Ever since then, I really started to dream about going here. Um, some of the traditions I learned about was the Mirror Lake jump, which is the bottom picture there. This jump happens around Thanksgiving time, right when they have the game with Michigan. The students would jump off of the bridge that you can see at the left over there, and they would jump into the cold water. Um, this was kind of a dangerous tradition, and recently they have been draining the lake. They didn't want to promote that kind of stuff, and I don't blame them. So that tradition has been put to a stop, but it was very awesome to learn about. Covering up all the M's on the campus during Michigan Week. As you can see in the top picture, the Ohio Historical Marker has red tape over all of the M's, and this happens all around the campus. Anywhere you go, there will be M's crossed off. No M's for Ohio State. Um, the understudies will even take it as far as crossing out M's in their and their Twitter and their resumes and email addresses, which I think is really crazy and cool. Some activities around there's the Polaris Fashion Mall, which is a 2-story mall, and I've been there recently. It's a really awesome place to hang out, go get some new clothes, just kind of hang out. And then there's the Short North Arts District, which is kind of like Clifton and Cincinnati. It's just full of coffee shops and art galleries and restaurants and theaters. It's a really awesome place. And then there's the Park of Roses, which is amazing when it's in full bloom. I went there when I was a little bit littler. It's just so many different types of roses, perennials, daffodils, all kinds of flowers. It's a really amazing place, and it's beautiful when it's in bloom. Some social activities. While I'm not huge in football, I'm a huge horseback rider. I plan to join the Ohio University Western Equestrian Team and the Ohio State Hunt Seat Equestrian Team. These are two types of horseback riding. There are two different disciplines, English and Western, and I'm big in both. And I've met some people on these teams, and they're really amazing people. And I'm not big into football. I am big into horseback riding, and I think this would be a really good activity for me if I were to go there. On campus living. You do have to live there for 2 years when you go there. Not a huge deal. They have a bunch of different places you can go. They have a bunch of different things. You can have roommates, and you can bring whatever you want as long as it's in the law. I will really enjoy living on campus, as it looks like it's a really cozy place and not too much of a big deal. So it looks really nice, and having a roommate would probably be nice. And then I did do an interview with a family friend, Jeff Belding. I asked him a bunch of different questions. One of them was, did he participate in any of the traditions? And while he was a part of a fraternity, he always seemed to have football tickets and basketball tickets in his hand. So he loved going to all the games, and he was also a part of the first open fraternity with colored, gay, and trans students, which I thought was really amazing. But he did have to leave the fraternity to focus on his studies. I asked him if there was anything around the campus that he particularly enjoyed, and he definitely enjoyed being part of the fraternity. He was a big football guy, and he also told me that around the time there were about 40 to 50 bars that circled the campus, so drinking was a huge thing for students back in that time. The parking situation was honestly a huge mess, he said, for him when he worked there. Went, but he said that his friends pitched in and drove him around so he didn't have to drive too much, but he says that they have an amazing busing system and that it's going to be really expensive for me. Not a huge deal. And then I asked him how living on campus was, and he said that he lived on campus for 1 quarter, and then in his senior year, he lived on South Campus, and he had a two-room house that shared a kitchen. He stated that he enjoyed his neighbors, and it's super expensive now, which might be a struggle for me. With their vet acceptance, each year the college admits 162 new veterinary students. This is a very low acceptance rate, and they do utilize as much of their their admission procedures. They're very selective admission procedures. Applicants are evaluated on academic profiles and all the factors, including motivation, commitment, profession, character, communication, skills like that, animal exposure, and knowledge of the professionalism. The graph here shows the vet acceptance of Ohio State nationwide and in Ohio. And as you can see, it's a little bit difficulter to get into Ohio State due to their crazy amount of. They have a very amazing school for vet. So, how could you blame them? In total, this research project has been really amazing for me. I've learned a lot about Ohio State and all that goes on there. While, yes, I'm going to have to work really, really hard to get in, it's something that I'm worth putting all the hard work in for. I want to be an equine vet, and that's going to take a lot of studying and a lot of learning, and I'm willing to put in the hard work. So, thanks for watching.